Bluff City Media presents The Anthony Sane Show on YouTube at Bluff City Media. Stepping up to the microphone is your host, Anthony Sane.
Acknowledge me.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome everyone to the Anthony Sane Show, episode 3. We are here live at the Bluff City Media Studios. This is the Anthony Sane Show. I'm, of course, your host, Anthony Sane. We are in a strange place today. Kenny Stubblefield is behind the glass. Kenny, how you doing, brother?
Man, I'm wonderful, man. How are you?
Man, I'm good. We are in a strange place because we are recording this in the middle of Game 1 of the NBA Finals, and you guys will be watching this after you already know what happened in tonight's game. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to do some Back to the Future, I guess. We're going to be talking about something you guys have already seen, which will be definitely be fun to see. I am definitely excited for these NBA Finals, Kenny. I'm excited for the matchup between these two teams. I'm a big Jason Tatum fan, so I would have definitely loved to see him playing tonight instead of this Miami Heat team. But I cannot knock what this Miami team is doing, man. I've questioned them ever since seeing them lose, the first game of the play-in to the Atlanta Hawks. We forget about they lost to the Atlanta Hawks. They were losing to the Chicago Bulls, and now they have found themselves in the NBA Finals. Definitely good to see. I'm not going to provide any in-depth analysis. I'm not going to give you any predictions. And I'll lead there. Plenty of shows that you can do that. Plenty of guys where you can find, you can get your picks in. Guys tell you who's going to win, why they're going to win. There are guys that can do that. If you just kind of type it in, and you'll find guys who can do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to share my overall opinion that I will be excited about this series. And I'm saying that I think that the series like the one that you watched last night, that we will be watching for the coming days, will be good for the league. We're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about, can the Grizzlies possibly replicate some of the things that you're seeing in a team like the Miami Heat or in a team like the Denver Nuggets? That's going to be an interesting conversation. The second segment of the show today, I will have a good friend of mine, former Shelby County Commissioner, as well as social and political advocate, Tammy Sawyer, will be joining me in segment 2. We're going to talk about a lot of things, talk about her background, talk about, her takes on sports. She has some very interesting takes on this, I'm sure. I'm looking forward to see, what she's going to talk about as far as the whole Ja Morant situation. And I'm going to ask you some questions about the mayoral race as well. I'm sure it's going to be a fun conversation with Tammy Sawyer. That will be coming up in the next segment. Also, we're going to debut a new segment today, Kenny Stubblefield, called The 3-Pointer. Give you 3 interesting things to talk about. We'll talk about that in the third segment. And we will wrap up the show with Inside the Same Brain. We're going to talk about your boy, Narc Cuban, today. Kenny Stubblefield.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Narc Cuban, who went on Twitter just doing a little human behavior survey. Just trying to see where y'all was at out here.
Just want to give a little research.
Yeah, a little research out here for the people.
I'm one of you guys. I'm a Twitter guy.
Right.
I just want to do some research.
Yeah, I just want to see where y'all head is at.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about that as well. But like you said, you guys watched the Game 1 of the NBA Finals. If I were a betting man, I would bet that the Denver Nuggets won that game last night or tonight or whatever you're watching. I'm not sure of the score. We're literally recording as that game is going on.
14-9 Denver.
Yeah. I think Denver's gonna pull that one out. The elevation ain't no joke, Kenny. You get out there and can't breathe in Denver, man. It get crucial, man. Especially, and statistics also show that teams who wrapped up a 7-game series, typically they don't do well in the first game of the next series. They just finished the other night. Denver hasn't played in like about 9 days, so of course that could be, it can go either way, but I think Denver's going to end up winning Game 1. I think they're going to win the series. I'm not going to go into this in-depth discussion about why. Like I said, there's a lot of places you can go to find that stuff. I don't think this is what you guys are here for. Y'all hear me. Y'all come to hear me kind of, I don't know what y'all come here for, but yeah.
What a commercial.
Right.
I don't know why you're here, but thanks for being here.
Thanks for being here, for sure. Like, subscribe, comment, all those type of things. I'm excited, Kenny Stubblefield, because the NBA seems to be moving away from the super team era that officially feels dead. And I think what you're seeing now, Kenny, in the NBA is teams that are built more around one megastar player, whether it's a Jimmy Butler or Nikola Jokic. And you got your megastar, and then you have a guy who's your semi-star. That would be your Jamal Murray for Denver, and that would be your Bam Adebayo for Miami. A guy who he's not on the same tier as a star, but he's a very good all-star level player within himself.
One of those semi-stars is not like the other, man. Jamal Murray is a MFN monster.
Yeah, he'll drop 50 like it ain't nothing on you for sure. And then you have you're surrounded by an abundance of role players who are able to. They're switchable guys and knock down threes. You see that on both teams, whether it's Michael Porter Jr., who definitely has star potential. Bruce Brown, all these different guys, and just all those dudes that play for Miami, those big four guys that are undrafted who are just killing everybody. Max Strus, Gabe Vincent, Duncan Robinson, of course, the big dog, Caleb Martin. Those guys have been phenomenal for Miami. I love it, man. I love the way that Miami is built. I love the things that they're doing. Of course, I love Denver, a team that's been persevering, has some early exits. But, now they're here, man. They're in the finals. Jokic has been around for a while. I want to say he's maybe 27, 28 years old. So he's in the prime of his career. I just love what I see, man. We were in a time where we were literally watching LeBron versus somebody in the finals every year. And it was the Warriors in the finals every year. And it's like, man, something different has to happen. And I think that the NBA is evolving, man. You're getting out of that super team era. And I just love the group project era, what it feels like we're in now, where you have those guys who are your clear leaders, your semi-superstar type level players, and then an abundance of role players who can knock down shots, and play defense. I think it's incredible. Kudos to what Miami is doing. Like I said, a team who's limited by cap space and having low draft picks every year, 4 undrafted players in their rotations who are playing heavy minutes and doing big things. Shout out to their evaluation team to be able to put that type of team together. And some of Miami's things that they're up against are their own flaws. You go out and you trade for a Kyle Lowry, who you gave up young players, assets, draft picks, those type of things for. And it kind of puts you in that situation where you have to build strangely through the draft, but they've done it. They have incredible talent evaluation over time, to identify guys, like we said, Caleb Martin, Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, and Duncan Robinson. And then you look at Denver, a team that's built around this superstar. They've had to deal with health issues, of course, and coming up short year after year in the playoffs for years until you've seen this year. Nikola Jokic has definitely matured. He's been taking more of an initiative. He's you would see games where he would fade away offensively. He's been this dog every game on offense, and he's giving it to guys. And you're seeing him, be vocal on the sidelines and things like that. I hate that I'm not seeing the game that you guys saw last night, but I'm definitely excited about it. Another theme that this playoff series screams out, Kenny Stubblefield, is patience. Of the guys that you talk about in Miami's 4 guys that are undrafted, 3 of those guys are third-year players. 1 is a fourth-year player, Duncan Robinson. I think I've seen the light, Kenny Stubblefield. I really think I've seen the light. And when I say that, I'm a changed man. You guys have seen me knock guys like the Zaire Williams of the world, the David Roddies, the Jake LaRavias. I've knocked these guys. I've said that these guys aren't ready for prime time, these type of things. I guarantee you that the 4 guys that are on Miami's roster didn't look like anything or they weren't playing. I don't have any numbers to present you guys. But
Duncan didn't play much last year.
He didn't play much at all last year. But, he was big in the bubble, whatever.
Right.
But it took patience, man. It took you identifying these guys and allowing several years for them to bloom, in their system. And I'm not saying that, the guys we have are going to turn into those level guys. But we just don't know, man. We don't know. We don't know what they're going to turn into. Miami, of course, has a totally different coaching situation. You're talking about one of the GOAT coaches, in Eric Spoelstra. And they've got a guy in Jimmy Butler who's 33 years old, as opposed to our leader, our best player, Ja Morant, is only 23 years old. But what I'm saying is, just as a general theme, you have to kind of wait the process out with these guys and see what you have before you just start cutting ties. I think, because they're trying to upgrade immediately at that small forward position, Kenny, that they're going to trade maybe 1 or 2 of those guys. But I think the Grizzlies should, take a hard evaluation of the guys they have internally and see if you can find a guy who can be your own Caleb Martin. A lot of people are saying that is David Roddy. I'm not quite there yet to think that just to assume that it's him. I think that because he's more physically mature than other guys, he looked well last season. But I'm not really sure what the ceiling is for a David Roddy type guy. I'm gonna tell you who it could be, man. I think the dude's terrible right now, but I'll tell you who I think it could be strictly because I think if anything, he can shoot the ball at a high level, and that's Jake LaRavia. I don't really think Zaire is ever going to be a high volume shooter. He can definitely defend. He can definitely. He's athletic. He's got size. Over advantage of all those guys. But I'm willing to be patient, Kenny. That's all I got. I'm willing to be patient with our guys. Kudos to the teams that are in the finals. I think that if we, if you give these guys some time, you can see, one or two of these guys be, good on that level. But you have to find that way to, mix development and, kind of a win now mode, with guys as far as, getting them implemented into the system. And I wouldn't count out, I'm going to tell you two guys that I wouldn't count out, man, who could very well leap some of the guys on our team. Your two-way guy, well, he's not a two-way guy now, but Kenneth Lofton and Vince Williams, I would not be shocked if those dudes are players in the NBA in a couple of years. Yeah. I like Vince Williams stuff for sure. He was playing very well for the Hustle this year. Kenneth Lofton, of course, was, your G League Rookie of the Year. He's not a wing like those other guys, but he's a guy who I think could be, an impact player in the playoffs. But yeah, man, it's an exciting finals. I'm loving the direction of the NBA right now, man. Seeing teams like this Miami team, like this Denver team, they're going to play great basketball. It's just going to be a slugfest, man, of just witty coaches going back and forth, game planning. I think it's going to be good. I'm excited to see it for sure.
It's a basketball lovers series.
Yeah,
like it's not a celebrity series.
Yeah.
It's not a major market series, even though Miami and Denver are big markets.
Yeah.
But it is two basketball teams that know how to play basketball.
Yep.
Two coaches that know how to coach. And it is, if you're a lover of basketball, this is going to be a series to watch.
Yeah, man.
It sounds like to me, if I can just we had the conversation last week with DeMichael Cole.
Right.
And he brought up Utah.
Oh, man.
That wrecked you, didn't it?
Yeah, that messed me up big time, bro. Like knowing that Karl Malone and Stockton were 33 and 34 years old. Or 34 and 35 before they broke through and made it to the finals. I was like, dude, I was not aware of it. But I know they retired not too long after they were done, but I thought they kind of retired early. I didn't think those dudes were 40 damn near when they retired. Like Karl Malone and John Stockton played for a long-ass time before they got to the finals, bro. That's wild, man. Like Jimmy Butler's 33. I don't think a lot of people know that. Like Jimmy Butler is back in the finals again. He's 33 years old. Like he was there a couple of years ago at like 31 or whatever. But
we're talking
that's
about
wild, man.
We're talking about. Let's think about it this way. The Grizzlies superstar, Ja Morant, is 23 years old. We're talking about a decade of difference in age between Karl Malone, John Stockton, Jimmy Butler, those guys. Like if that doesn't give you a level of leniency, I think, when it comes to what goes down in these seasons right now, because you're right. Like it is I mean, there are folks that were ready to blow this thing up, right? Like,
yeah, man.
They didn't make it past this, that, and the third. And it's like, look at the history of the NBA. And you brought out that point last week, and DeMichael just straight up rocked it with that Utah thing, and it was just
messed me up, man.
Man, like you're right. Like they were,
because we want Boston to be ready now. They're 25.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're wondering why they can't win a championship when they're 25 years old. It's just I might have my ages mixed up. I want to say Steph Curry is 34 or 35, right? So that's basically what you're saying. Like imagine if Steph just now made it to his first finals at this point. Like that's what Karl Malone and John Stockton did. Those guys were together for 15 damn years or whatever. It's wild stuff, man. It's wild stuff for sure. But I'm excited about these playoffs, Kenny Stubblefield. I'm also excited about who our guest will be when we come back from the break. My good friend, Tammy Sawyer, like I said, the former Shelby County Commissioner. She's going to join us. We're going to talk sports. We're going to talk a little politics. We're going to talk some social issues. Of course, we got to do that. But you're going to see that and more here on the Anthony Sane Show. See y'all in a minute.
What's up, guys? I'm so excited to announce that we have partnered with Coaching for Literacy, and you can read more about them at coachingforliteracy.org or follow them on social media at Coaching for Literacy. Your subscription to Bluff City NIL is 100% tax deductible because of our partnership together. Thank you for supporting Memphis Tigers student athletes and helping promote the monumental cause of childhood literacy.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Anthony Sane Show. And as promised, my good friend, Tammy Sawyer, she is a former Shelby County Commissioner and a social and political advocate for the great city of Memphis. She is here in the studio, in the Bluff City Media studio. Tammy Sawyer, what is going on, my friend?
What's up?
We were joking on the parking lot about this is actually the first time we've officially met in person. We met through social media, but I actually have met you before. We joked about that as well, too. For those of you who are watching for the first time, we will tell this story. It is hilarious. Anyone who knows me, Kenny Stubblefield behind the glass, anyone who knows me knows that I am a grand hustler, and I will do whatever it takes to flip a coin, for sure. And I DoorDash from time to time. I'm a DoorDash dasher. I do that from time to time. And I had I usually drive in my neighborhood. I live in Midtown. So I get this order for, I don't know. I can't remember what the name said, but it wasn't Tammy. So I had a pizza order, and I go to deliver the order. And when I go, I'm driving in the car, and the pizza slides off of my seat. Since then, I have like a little bumper thing, whatever. But it was Tammy Sawyer's pizza, and it flipped over Kenny Stubblefield. And her pizza was upside down in my car when I got to her house. I said, oh, crap. Then I walk to the door, and I see Shelby County Commissioner at the time, Tammy Sawyer. And I'm like, shit, man. I was like, yeah, thanks, ma'am. Appreciate you. But I wasn't friends with her then. I didn't know who, I knew who she was, but yeah, that was our first moment of first encounter. This is our second, a little bit more official encounter, other than when I gave you a flipped over pizza.
Yeah, you did better then.
And you have no knowledge of that pizza, right? Did it appear flipped over?
I always try to remember it when you tell me that story, but no.
Oh, okay. So you have no knowledge of it. Well, that's good. That did a good job then.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about flipped over like cheese on the top was now on the bottom type flip.
Oh, I'm sure I reported you to DoorDash.
I've been 5-star for a minute, so.
Well, you was probably 4.9.
It probably flipped so quick that you never noticed.
Okay.
All right.
Did you open it and put your fingers on it?
I didn't do that because it's taped up with her.
What was it, Pyros?
Papa John's. Who eats Papa John's?
I don't order Papa John's.
It was you. It was at your house. It might have been Pyros though, now that you said
it. Was Pyros.
Might have been. But anywho, we also have a trauma bond, Kenny Stubblefield and people at home, myself and my friend Tammy Sawyer. There were multiple Twitter accounts that for some reason decided to create a hybrid Twitter account that trolled me and Tammy at the same time. Out of any random people in the world, they chose me, who at the time was a radio host on Sports 56, and Tammy Sawyer, who had a much more important job than mine. And he would make these hybrid accounts where the name was like Tammy, I hate Tammy and Sane.
Yeah, it was like at the worst people in the world are Tammy and Anthony. We barely knew each other.
And we didn't know each other at all.
No,
because that's what made me reach out to you. Like, hey, maybe we need to I don't know. Maybe we just have this trauma bond where people.
We tweeted for 2 days at each other just to piss people off.
Right. And then another thing too, I was talking about something that happened on the radio. And I said, if it comes down to it, I'll get the Black women Power Rangers to deal with this. And Tammy Sawyer is the head of them. And I sent you that clip. And then we just got cool from there. And then you did something that was not cool to me, Tammy Sawyer.
That was the greatest thing I've ever done.
Yeah, this is the best story ever. For those of y'all who don't know, I have glaucoma. As well as moderate anxiety problems, Kenny Stubblefield. And because of that, I dabble into medicinal products. That
are legal in Arkansas.
They're legal in Arkansas and Mississippi. I think I was using Delta 8 at the time, actually, which is legal in Tennessee.
No, I do remember that because you were like, I'm off this Delta 8.
Yeah, but I was high as a fool. And I get a random text from somebody who had never texted me before. And it was like, what's up, bro? Guess who she said she was, Kenny Stubblefield?
I can't wait to hear this.
She said that this is Ja Morant. No, I'm high as a kite, bro. Like it was an edible. I'm high as a kite. Like I'm up there. I'm on the moon with a hot air balloon looking at a baboon. That's how high I was. And Tammy Sawyer texted me from a number I don't recognize. 901 number. He said, hey, this is Ja Morant. And I was fresh off of saying something slick about Ja on Twitter or something like that.
You was selling like bootleg Ja t-shirts.
Yeah, that's what it was. I had dropped like some fire ass bootleg Ja shirts.
And I was like, yo, this Ja.
I was like, I'm about to go to jail, man.
And I was like, what?
Like I'm about to get sued by Ja Morant. So now we're going to get to the fun stuff. We're going to talk about sports.
Let's go.
Tammy Sawyer, what is your sports story? Like what teams? Like I think you told me the other day that you weren't born here. Is that correct?
No, I wasn't. I was born in Evanston, Illinois, where Northwestern University is, right outside of Chicago.
How far is it from where the Simpsons are from?
Springfield?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because you look kind of like a Simpson a little bit.
I'll slap the shit out of you. You're really trying to ruin my public reputation on this show.
Come on, man. It's Memphis. You know we got to check, man. No, but for real, though. So you're from, how close is that to Chicago, for real?
Springfield is the capital. It's in the middle of the state. Mm-hmm. Illinois is long. You know how Tennessee is wide? Mm-hmm. I don't know how you did on the TCAP, but Tennessee is wide. Illinois is long. And so it's kind of like here to Chattanooga. So like 6
long
hours.
Is like this, right? Mm-hmm. And wide is, I guess. Yeah. I guess.
So nowhere near there. I was born outside of Chicago, but my mama is from Memphis, and so we were always back and forth. Mm-hmm. And then going into the 7th grade, my parents decided to move here. So I grew up. My dad's from Chicago, so I grew up with the Bulls, mm-hmm. going to Cubs and White Sox games, Bears. I remember the Super Bowl shuffle. You know, that's one of the first things I remember. But I wasn't super into sports, so like. I was just a Chicago sports fan. And then when we moved here, we didn't have any teams. Mm-hmm. And then the Titans came. But my uncles from down here were all Cowboys fans. And then the Titans, you know, everybody thinks they did Memphis dirty, so I never really plugged in with the Titans. Right. I love Steve McNair, though.
Oh, the GOAT.
Was a big Steve McNair fan. But football, I was a Cowboys fan. And then I loved, I've always liked college football, so I used to be a Tennessee fan when T. Martin was there. Mm-hmm. But my uncle, who's a big influence on my sports fandom, is an Alabama fan. So I watched a lot of Alabama growing up. Now I'm an Oregon fan because I just like them. It's random. I'm a Navy fan because I
talking college football stuff.
Yeah, college football, and so that's if I'm watching college football, I'm usually watching Navy or Oregon, maybe Alabama.
You don't fool with the University of Memphis sports at all?
Oh yeah, I'm a huge Tiger fan. Okay, but I've never been a Tiger football fan. Okay, I'm a big Tiger basketball fan. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually now a WNBA booster. I have season tickets. Tiger women's basketball. I bought season tickets. Oh, okay. I'm excited about the new coach. Oh, yeah. LSU really inspired me, watching those girls play and watching what they went through. I was like, you know what? Let me put my money where my mouth is. I talk all the time about empowering women, and I see so many people who are like, well, the WNBA would get this or the women's basketball would get this if y'all went. And I'm like, okay, cool. So,
guess I'll go.
2 season tickets are $100 each, $200 to watch the women play all season. So I bought 2 tickets. Got these nice ass booster seats, and me and my nieces.
You are a booster and a season ticket holder.
Ain't that the same thing? That's what I meant. I'm a season ticket holder.
But you got to pay some money just to be a season ticket holder. Like you got to pay. Yeah. That's for women's basketball too. Yeah. Kenny, you know.
It's literally $200 to have 2 tickets for the whole season.
But I'm saying that includes a donation to the school outside of the ticket price. Is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not a booster then. Oh. I'm just a season ticket holder. Oh, okay. But I'm a booster I think my social media presence.
I got you. You being in the house just brings. Yeah, I could just say,
I'm about to blow it up.
Cause when I show up to, you see me rocking the All Blacks New Zealand rugby team shirt. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like if I go to a 901 FC game, and I say I'm going to the game, I feel like they probably sold 1,000 tickets just off top of it.
That was the other part. I was a huge DC United fan. When I lived in DC, I used to go out on the United games. But I really haven't gotten a 901 FC.
Oh, yeah, check it out.
Yeah.
We got to get our people in there for real.
And a Grizz fan, of course.
Yeah, for sure.
Big Grizzlies fan, since they got here.
So, speaking of the Grizzlies, I have a problem with people from Memphis who are not Grizzly fans. Like, who are carrying on these granddaddy, daddy legacies. You know, I watched Magic Johnson with my dad. I get what you're saying, but it all just comes off as phony to me. It seems like you're just waiting for a reason to jump on the bandwagon. What are your thoughts on people who, because especially someone who's an implant like you, what are your thoughts on people who were born and raised Memphians, saw the Grizzlies come here, and they've been here 25 years now.
Right, I saw the Grizzlies come here.
That's what I'm saying.
You just called me an implant.
But you're not.
It was transplant.
No, you know what I meant to say. See, you just talking about the TCAP though.
I know you failed it.
Yeah, there
you
it is.
Fail it right now.
Actually, I did very good. I was like in the top. What's the percentile?
I did very well.
So what do you think? What do you think about people who, you know what I'm saying? Cause I'm like, you saw if you saw the Grizzlies come here, man, there's no reason for you not to be a Grizzlies fan. Like, how can you not get behind them?
When I moved here as a child, which is why I do not consider myself a transplant. Like, I didn't come here as an adult.
You a Memphis.
When I moved here, there was no basketball team.
Right. And now you saw a team get here. How do you not pull for the Grizzlies? I don't understand.
I've been going to Grizzlies games since day one. So even when I lived out of town in DC, like I was walking around DC in Grizz gear and University of Memphis gear. I still remember when Chris Dougie Roberts threw himself on the floor when they missed that. I was in the bar, threw myself on the floor. You know what I mean? Like in DC. So I don't understand being here and not rooting for a team when I've been away and still been like Memphis.
It's crazy. I don't get it. Y'all just.
But we got a lot of self-hate in the city. So
that
I mean.
Too.
It doesn't,
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's like the Grizzlies aren't good enough for me. I can't like impose myself and live vicariously through the Grizzlies.
Or I'm going to be like people who go to brunch in Houston or Atlanta, you know, like, but Houston and Atlanta aren't necessarily better than Memphis. They just like got Real Housewives. Yeah. And so it's the same thing. Like, I can't be a Grizz fan. I'm going to be a Lakers fan.
Lakers fan, yeah.
Because that's hot.
Yeah, man. Y'all heard it, man. Y'all heard it from Tammy Sawyer. Y'all know what's up. But let's get to the good stuff. We can talk about some race.
You ready to lose? You get sponsorships yet?
Not yet. So, yeah, we might burn this episode. But no, we're going to talk about something racial. But no. Ja Morant is, we of course know what Ja did. Ja flashed a gun on Instagram live a few weeks ago for a millisecond. You had to like slow it down and like, you know, really go in depth to find the shot of him with the gun or whatever. And we all know that there's some type of suspension coming for conduct detrimental to the league. We all understand that. We've been talking about that. Every episode I've talked about the Ja Morant situation because it's such a big deal, you know what I mean? Yeah. And there's no decision, no penalty has came out yet, no suspension is out yet. But we know that something is coming. Adam Silver has a tough task because you have a guy, he basically admitted that a penalty is coming to Ja Morant because he's Ja Morant, because he's so important, because we have an image that we want him to uphold, because we look at Ja as being one of the guys that's going to be the future of the NBA. You know, you've got LeBron James is on his last years. Steph Curry's probably coming up on his last years. We're preparing that next wave of players. So Ja has a different responsibility than, you know, non-Morant who plays for whoever.
Non-Morant.
You know what I mean? So, and that's neither here nor there. There's a lot of discussion about that. And we understand that what Ja did was wrong. Like, that was a very irresponsible action where you're displaying a gun in a way that's not to protect yourself, you're not hunting, you're kind of making something very, it's just a very irresponsible display of a gun. Like, we understand it. But with that being said, how much... I'm just torn about that whole thing. If I could just be frank with you about it, I could just be completely transparent. Because it's like, how far can you go with the penalty for something that is simply a bad look rule that you broke? It's nothing illegal about what he did. It's like, you're making us look bad while we're trying to look good because of you. Yeah. We're trying to put you out in front to be the future of the league. You're not helping us do that. So we're going to penalize you and take money out of your pocket and let you miss games, and that could affect your All-Star status, could affect your All-NBA status. Now, I'm not trying to say Josh should be off the hook for this, but how far do you think is going too far when it comes down to penalties for him? Or do you think it's fair at all?
So it's interesting because when he first got suspended, and they had him down in Florida, right? At the they were calling it a rehab therapy center. I was actually disappointed that the NBA let him come home so quickly. What was he there, 2 nights?
No, he was there for about a week. When the news came out,
he had already been there.
Yeah.
You know, mental health care, and I don't think this, I think we throw mental health around a whole lot, just like all willy-nilly, and usually it's not. Like, but whatever, like, life planning, psychiatry, whatever job was going to get down in Florida, I would have said give it to him an extra, make it, like, it felt like it was just a ploy. Like, we just put him away somewhere. They pulled him back so quickly. I would rather see Ja go through things like mandatory big brother system with like him and Steph. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, like some type of like mandatory mentoring, mandatory volunteering. He's not really super active in the community. You might see him at the wing spot. You might see him play some pickup basketball.
But it all feels like super PR-ish whenever he does anything.
Yeah, or it's just like what he's interested in. Where's like the Ja Morant summer camp? Where's like
the free one? Or the one that's not $300 for 2 days.
Where's the Ja Morant summer camp in Binghamton?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and so have him do some volunteering. Like, have him see what he's destined to lose. Remind him where he came from.
Let him see the kids that we say that he influences. Like,
absolutely. You know what I mean? And so, like, it's one thing to see them at the games, and most of the kids that he's influencing aren't at the games,
Can't afford to go
to the games.
Right.
So the kids who got Ja Morant signed jerseys and high fives.
Or kids who are getting front row seats anyway.
Yeah.
Whose parents can afford it.
Whose parents can afford it. So, I was about to be racist and say a bunch, whenever I go to a game, there's a bunch of little white boys sitting in front of me.
So you were about to be racist?
Whatever.
Can black people be racist though?
No.
That's a whole other conversation. All right, but go ahead. Shout out to
my haters.
So you do think there is a limit that the NBA should?
I think do something that's beneficial to what you say you want from Ja. You want to make Ja mature. You want to make Ja a leader.
Right.
Grounding him ain't it.
I get that. Because you're taking away from him the thing that grounds him. I mean, that grounds him in a bad way, but keeps him.
Yeah. So, like, having him sit at home so he can what? Go play Fortnite with the homies?
Or do some more
dumb shit. Keep riding around and getting it because he home for 15 games, pissed off.
Right. I thought about that too. Like, are there other things you can do to continue the rehab process? Because like you said, the whole mental health journey is not a linear. You get you 7 days, and here's some notes, and here's some tactical things you can do. I think it's something, and that might be part of the progress. It might be where it has had to go back, and will be going back. But as far as what we see, it was just like that week-long thing. Whatever.
It's summertime. Kids are getting out of school. Some of them got to go back to school next week and spend all summer in school because they didn't do what they need to do.
Right.
Put Ja in summer school. Make him read Will Smith's book. I said this on another podcast. Do you remember the story Will Smith tells his first $1 million, how he spent it in 6 weeks? And he called his dad like, "Dad, I'm broke." And his dad was like, you dumb. Like, how you spend $1 million? And he was like, I never had $1 million. My family never had $1 million. All I needed to do with $1 million was spend it on girls and buy a car. And he was like, and then I'm sitting there broke. And they like, you just made $1 million. You ain't got another $1 million coming for a while.
Right.
Right. And so you think about that. But you think about, like, people are like, Ja's not from the hood. He don't want that life. He's not from the hood. He's from the rural hood. He ain't get it out the mud. He got it out the dust. Okay? And so you look at that.
The rural hood is a hood. Trust me.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
It's a whole other level of
it's
hood.
A whole nother. It's a double layer. He got it out the dust. Okay? And so he got it out the dust. And you look at that and you're like, T. Morant don't have generational wealth. Basketball was maybe going to be a career for him. Wasn't likely at first. And now here he is. He doesn't have people, and then there's folks who are like, oh, I heard Bag called him. I heard so-and-so called him. And, they said he's tripping. And I'm like, Moneybag called me and tell me to chill. And he was playing dice on the side of my games. I'm going to be like, motherfucker, get off my phone. He don't need to hear from Bag. He need to hear from the Wills who are like, I almost lost it.
Yeah. It needs to be somebody. I don't think Ja is in a position where, because people are like, he needs to talk to Penny, he needs to talk to Zebo. And if you really think about it, like, what can Penny Hardaway really say to Ja from a position of leverage that impresses Ja? Or like, what can he brag about? Because, I mean, it's like, even though Penny was all NBA, had one of the most popular shoes, Ja's like, dude, I got a shoe. Did your shoe sell out in 2 minutes? Like, I mean, I can see Ja having that type of attitude with another player. You know what I mean?
What is Penny saying to a Ja? Because if I'm Penny, I'm like, oh, I used to ride around Binghamton and get it. I get it. Mm-hmm. I'm from here. Mm-hmm. You know? Penny got in trouble a few times riding around Memphis, forgetting what he had on the line coming home. You know, so same thing. Like, and that's the thing. And I think that's why you actually haven't really heard Penny say, you know, they'd be like, he's like, oh, I'm praying for him. You know, I think he's going to be okay. Because Penny's like, I'm okay.
Right. I made it. Exactly.
Which is why I don't understand. I don't know if I'm jumping ahead, but I was like,
no, you good.
That's why I don't understand folks like, you know, your mentor, Shannon Sharp. Like, I don't understand. You know.
But when Tammy pulled up, she basically said, the studio looks like a fake-ass Club Shay Shay set up. So I was like, all right.
I didn't get no cognac. I'm just going to drink my
Hey, we got something for you, though, in the little refrigerator.
Oh, okay.
All of our guests are welcome to the refrigerator, for sure. But, again, this is my friend Tammy Sawyer. Former Shelby County Commissioner, social and political advocate, Twitter superstar. Tammy, you shared a very good video, a very heartfelt video on Facebook is where I saw it. You probably shared it everywhere. And you were talking about how you can relate to the level of criticism that Ja gets. And that is on a totally different level, of course, but you were talking about how when you were running for public office, how people were destroying your name, had all these bad things to say about you. I saw some of these things. I didn't know you at the time. I was like, this woman really, you know, kind of taking a lot of heat. I saw there was a cover of a publication here had you in a way that, you know, wasn't an accurate description of you. And I was like, man, this woman really getting it. You know what I mean? She's really under attack, you know, from a lot of stuff. And you talked about how it feels like the city of Memphis is kind of giving up on Ja, whatever. How do you feel the city could do better about how we are playing our role as far as embracing him and pulling for him during this time? How do you think the city could do more as far as, because I've seen people, man, just like switching up for real. Like really talking bad about Ja, you know, and I talked about this as well, how people are like, man, you know, Ja needs to get taught a lesson. I talk about how cringe that sounds to me. Like, bro, what are you talking about?
It's
like,
so cringe.
Yeah.
One, the way we talk about sports players.
You would have thought Ja pinched a baby on IG. Which I think is a little worse than flashing the gun. I'm sorry if somebody pinched a baby. That's pretty dastardly.
We have short memories.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, we'll love somebody one day and hate them the next. Mm-hmm. The whole country is like that. The whole world's like that.
We love a redemption story, but we love a fall from grace even more.
And Memphis, I think, is even more like that. I mean, you know, everybody's waiting for somebody's downfall. I think it's definitely a battle of resources. Mm-hmm. We don't have a lot to go around. So when we see somebody make it or we think make it, we're jealous or we're, you know, we don't want to support them. We're like, how come she's this? Da-da-da-da-da. You know, I remember when I came on the scene politically and people were like, where'd she come from? Who she thinks she is? Da-da-da. And I'm like, I'm doing the work.
Right.
You could be here too. For me if you wanted to, you know? And so I think, you know, for me, like, people just, not everybody. Clearly, I have a lot of support. And, you know, I had to learn to lean more into, like, I get so much love. Like, you know, if I sneeze online, 40 people going to tell me, bless you. You know, and I say that very humbly. Like, there are people who root for me all day, every day, you know. But, you know, on the flip side, there are also people who create accounts.
Anthony Sane and Tammy Sawyer, I hate y'all.
You know, put us together. We didn't even know each other. Like, what did we do together?
All I did was try to give this woman a pizza. That's the only connection I got to.
They would have loved you. They know you spilled my pizza on the floor.
I kicked it to the dog.
You know, but it's like, and I think for a lot of people know of course, like the racism, but take that out the like paint, talking like just straight to black folks. Like, you know, I remember like listening to the radio and they'd be like, oh, she likes women. Oh, she's fat. God. You know, or going on social media. And one of the like biggest jokes was, how's she going to run a city if she can't run a mile? Oh, and I'm like, Jim Strickland, big as I am. Y'all ain't saying shit bigger now.
Oh, God. I'm about to say something else too, but it'll probably come out wrong.
But also, you know, like, you know, and
black people saying this.
Yeah, like, why don't you have any kids? Where's your husband? You need to be spending your time focused on having a relationship. And I'm like, and it was just mean. So much of it was just mean spirited and like, you know, people accusing me of doing it for the money. And I built my social media persona. You know, like my followers are organic. I ain't never. There's a lot of politicians that have bought followers. Yeah. I ain't paid 1 red cent for a follower. You know, so I built my social media following on all platforms. And so when people think like, well, why do people support her? Because I'm authentic, you know, and again, hate me or love me, I also am going to survive. And so one thing like that I did put out in the video you're talking about, I shared how when I had a whole Twitter gate where like Jim Strickland's campaign dug up tweets from when I was 23, 24 years old. It was
bringing up old shit.
Yeah. I'm trying to make it seem like I was all kinds of things that I wasn't. And like you said, people were they celebrated
they were ready
that.
For that. Yeah.
It wasn't that, you know, the people who were hurt, I understood that. But for most people, they didn't care about none of it. They were just excited to see me with mud on my face.
Right.
And it just really made me like hate myself very strongly, question myself. You know, I felt very suicidal because I didn't feel worthy.
Right.
You know, and I think you trip down the steps in your house, nobody sees it, right? I fell down the steps of, I don't know.
The Rocky steps.
Yeah, no, I fell down the Rocky steps. Ja fell down Mount Rushmore.
Exactly.
And I think that's like what you got to realize. Like people, like you trip and fall, nobody sees it. But you trip and fall all day. How many times you stumble? I stumble over my feet all day.
Stubbed my toe.
Right, but
looking like a doof.
And nobody's gonna be like, oh, look at Anthony falling all the time.
Right.
Most people have never fallen down a step in public, let alone. And so I think that we just don't have that grace or understanding or compassion because we fail and fuck up all the time. Am I allowed to curse?
Well, it's out there now. There go another for you, Ken. Timestamp. There you go.
We fail all the time, but we get to clear up our stuff, you know? But we don't allow others to do that.
Tammy, thank you for coming on. Really appreciate you. It was an incredible segment. We ran the gambit.
Well, I believe in self-promotion, so everybody, thank you for your support. To the racist, you make me even more famous by hating me, so thank you so much. My Instagram is @TammySawyer901. My Twitter is @TammySawyer.
We about to take a break. When we come back, we are debuting a new segment called The 3-Pointer. We're going to talk about some major things that are going on since the last time we talked. We'll see you guys in a minute here on the Anthony Sane Show.
What's up, guys? I'm so excited to announce that we have partnered with Coaching for Literacy, and you can read more about them at coachingforliteracy.org or follow them on social media at Coaching for Literacy. Your subscription to Bluff City NIL is 100% tax deductible because of our partnership together. Thank you for supporting Memphis Tigers student athletes and helping promote the monumental cause of childhood literacy.
Everyone, we're back on the Anthony Sane Show, wild segment with my good friend Tammy Sawyer, who was literally all over the place. But during that segment, Also had breaking news about Ja Morant. We're going to open with that. This is the three-pointer. We're going to talk about 3 quick topics for you guys. This is a major topic that we were not aware of, in the last segment we recorded. But Adam Silver pretty much made an address. We were kind of scrambling during the commercial break. Kenny, I think Adam Silver made an address before the NBA Finals or something like that. Is that?
Yeah, he was a press conference before the game, and he was asked about Ja Morant, which is crazy. Like that, Ja Morant, a fourth-year player, his situation, they asked him about his Memphis Grizzly player before game 1 of the NBA Finals. Like, that's wild to me. Anyway,
and he said that, here's another thing too, man, that I thought about during the break as well, because this is one of the first things that came to mind. He said that we've acquired additional information about the situation, right? Right?
Okay. He said we've acquired additional information.
Now keep in mind, this is dated. When you guys see this recording tomorrow, you could very well know what that information was. Someone might come out and say what that is. But how do we know it was something bad? How do we know it's not additional information that's good in Ja's favor? Because how do we know he's not talking about? We've seen Ja make steps to do better shit. Like he's purged his social media accounts.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I think we just kind of took the first assumption that we got initial information. Oh, Ja just shot somebody. You know what I mean? Like we're kind of assuming the worst on this. But I don't know, man. Like at the point where we found this, when we recorded this, it's a very vague statement by Adam Silver. He basically said we're gonna let the finals play out before we make any decision on this. I get that. I've got an interesting theory on that too, man. And I hate for this to be dated and be wrong in the morning or wrong in the afternoon when we play this. Maybe this is just hopeless optimism, Kenny, but I am hoping that Adam Silver has had a conversation with Ja Morant and that he's like, Ja, look, dude, I'm not trying to give you more games than Miles Bridges. I don't need that kind of smoke, man.
Right.
And what I'm hoping you would do, Ja, is take your time during this time of the finals, during this offseason. Keep a clean nose, constantly do things to repair your image, constantly do things to show me that you're being dead serious. And this is a number. I'm not going to say what I think the number might be, but this is the number I have a couple numbers for you, Ja. If you can stay clean for this amount of time and show me that you're trying to do better over this amount of time, show me your plan of action, those type of things, this is your number. I give you this number. But if you don't make any changes, this is the number I'm going to give you. I'm trying to save my own face. I need you to be on the court. I can see it being that type of thing, Kenny. That's what I wanted to come in here and talk about the other day. That I really think that they've spoken. And like Adam Silver was like, man, by the time this comes out, people really ain't going to give a shit. You're just talking about maybe a month from now, or later this summer when he finally makes an announcement or whatever. This could have died over. No one would really care. I don't know. That's just me throwing stuff in,
What I thought was interesting about that statement was he mentioned the Players Association in his statement.
What did he say?
He said,
because you've had a time, well, since the last segment, you were able to kind of look into what was going. Yeah.
He mentioned that
I know nothing.
He's been in conversation with them and that they are in agreement on the timing of the announcement of his suspension, which makes me think that they've been in contact about all of it, not just the timing, right? All of it, like the severity of the suspension, the length of the suspension, the additional information that might have come out. The Players Association is there to advocate for the players. And so I can appreciate the fact that those guys are involved. Right. And that gives me hope that it's not just been Ja chilling out in the background and letting Adam Silver do his thing. There actually are
communications
and conversations that are happening.
Right. That probably include Ja, Adam Silver, and the Players Association.
Right. Ja's people, the Players Association, and the front or not the front office, but the head offices in the NBA. And that to me, I actually agree with you. It wouldn't surprise me if there was like, hey, listen, man, just
dude,
keep your nose clean.
Right.
Do what you
I need you. You need me.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
We need each other. So Jerry Maguire, help me, help you.
Right.
Like that kind of stuff. And so, I know that there's a lot of, knee-jerk reaction to that statement tonight, and people are like, oh shit, like 40 games, 50 games.
Oh, they're gonna kill him.
They're gonna kill him. It's over.
They're literally gonna kill him. They're gonna electrocute him.
Yeah, like banned. Banned.
He's a multi-time offender.
Right. And
what does that even mean, man?
Come on, man.
Like what are you talking about, bro? Like his offense was flashing a gun. Like and being somewhere drunk and acting a fool and showing a gun.
We just need to relax.
Like
a little bit.
he didn't like. Come on, man. Like why are we talking about these legal terms? Like Ja's done something illegal. Y'all some clown shit.
There are some procedures and protocols in place to handle these kinds of things, and it sounds like to me, based on what has been said, is that those procedures and protocols are in full effect right now. And so, man, let's just chill.
Yeah. Second point of the night. I'm excited about this personally, man. Monte Williams signs the largest coaching contract in NBA history. I think it was 6 years, 72 million, reported by Adrian Wojnarowski. He had a bigger number than the Shams put out. I don't know if that includes bonuses or whatever, but that's an asinine coaching deal, man. If it was 6 years, 60 million, that would be a crazy coaching deal. But it was 6 years in the 70s. It's insane.
$10 million annually to be the head coach of the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, I think with bonuses it was like 70 something, possible, whatever. It's probably bonus numbers he'll never reach.
78.5.
Yeah, that's crazy. that's a crazy coaching contract for sure, man. But I'm excited for Monte Williams. I'm excited about the Detroit Pistons organization. Those guys, they're really trying to get things going over there, man. They had a rough year last year. I had them in my overs on FanDuel as far as teams I thought would hit the over on their win total. They definitely did not. Kenny Stubblefield, but I'm excited about what Detroit's doing. I think that Monte Williams would be a perfect coach there, man. He's a guy who got that Phoenix team, helped them get over the hump, got them to the NBA Finals. He's just a guy who reformation projects, man. That's his thing. And I think he's going to do well there in Detroit. Perfect fit for him with that team, man. He's a hell of a coach.
Man, the team is not – they
got talent. They're just young.
They're young. And
super young.
What is Monte Williams known for? He is
building those type of teams.
Building those fatherly influences, like those steadying influences. This to me is like the perfect place for Monte Williams to be.
He's going to get Cade Cunningham back. He's got Jaden Ivey, James Wiseman, Jalen Duren. Like, he's got tons of young talent.
Isaiah Stewart, R.J. Hampton, Marvin Back. I mean, dude, come on.
Oh, and Isaiah Stewart has the best nickname in the NBA. Beef Stew is incredible as a nickname for a crazy dude who love to fight. But anyway, I love the Monte Williams hire for sure. That's definitely I'm down for it for sure. Super excited for him signing the biggest deal. It's dope when you get fired and get upgraded with your next job, man. That's dope for sure.
This is what's crazy is the reporting that they came to him initially 2 weeks after the draft lottery and gave him an offer. He's like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm gonna take a year off. I need a break." That kind of stuff.
But wait, there's more.
They came back and said, "Here's the Brinks truck," and he said,
"Oh yeah, I'll take that."
Cool.
Yeah, I'll take that, sir. Yeah. Final point of tonight is some news that it's not really official news yet, but it's just an amazing thing to hear. Deandre Williams, who will be the oldest player in college basketball if he is in fact able to come back. It was news broken and confirmed by Doc Holliday of WMC5 here in Memphis, put out a statement on Twitter saying that Deandre Williams' agent, I believe, was confirming that Deandre Williams has interest in coming back to Memphis in the event that he can, get a waiver to play. Again, I'm not going to get into a conversation of whether or not I think that waiver can happen. I'm just excited that Penny is that type of deal is on the table to get a guy like Deandre back. Nobody in Memphis media probably made more jokes or clowned Deandre Williams being that damn old than me. I remember his sister came in and replied to me directly about DeAndre. I was like, "Ma'am, I get it, but I don't." But in this situation, where Penny is, looking for bigs on his roster, I think DeAndre would be a perfect fit. I would love to see him come back. And people are like, man, aren't you tired of college basketball? No, this NIL stuff, man, changes the game, bro. I don't know what he's making. I would guess it's probably a six-figure deal in NIL at minimum.
Minimum.
And with that being said, man, where is he going to play? Where is he going to work in the States that he gets that type of money? And if he goes and plays basketball overseas, those contracts aren't always big, Kenny. You know what I mean? He could be in America at a place that he's known, that he knows everyone knows him. There's love here. Making hella good money in a city like Memphis, man. Salute, man. I really hope it happens. Hope he gets the waiver. I'm gonna be positive about it. You've got more details of why it is possible for him to get the waiver. Share those real quick before we go to the break, Ken.
Yeah, just to clarify also, not only would he be the oldest player in college basketball.
Is he older than any coaches in college basketball?
Josh Pastner was 27 when he got the Memphis job.
Was he really, man?
Close to it.
Oh, damn.
If he was on the Grizzlies, he'd be second oldest player on the team.
Behind Tyus Jones.
Behind Steven Adams.
Behind Steven Adams. He's older than Tyus Jones.
He's the same age as
Good
Tyus
God.
Jones.
Damn.
But listen, man.
I'm with it, man.
I'm with it too. Like, come on, man. You gotta be kidding me.
But, you talking about what, 15-8?
Right.
Like one of the better players in the conference last year, was a monster in the conference tournament.
Top 3 player in the conference.
Yeah, man. Give it to me.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
down for it for sure.
So basically the whole deal, Anthony, I'll do this real fast, is he went to Evansville his freshman year. He was recruited to Evansville. Prior to that, while in Houston, he had transferred and gone to a prep school that apparently wasn't accredited. He had no clue. He was lied to. He was manipulated. He was all that kind of stuff by his people that made that decision with him. Basically, they were lied to the whole time. So he came into Evansville not with bad grades like you see a lot of kids, but with unaccredited, lack of credits basically. And the NCAA came back and said, well, you are academically ineligible. So he set out that full year. That first year as a scholarship player, he had to sit out because he's academically ineligible. From what I remember, the NCAA then came back after that first year and said, we made a mistake. You actually weren't.
But he still lost
But he still lost that year.
Right.
And so he has
So now they're just trying to get that year back.
They're trying to get that year back. That's his waiver request.
So why are so many people it just seems like hate to me, man. I think folks just don't want to see Penny win. Because it's like, why would that seems really cut and dry, man. Like he should be able to get that year back. Like and I know you got the stuff people do where it's like, oh, it's Memphis, man. They're not gonna. I hear that, but I think we should be a little bit more positive about that whole situation. Man.
I think he has a phenomenal case.
Yeah,
I do. I think that it doesn't hurt anybody to let Deandre come in and play a final year. It only helps.
Yeah.
But again, there's just a lack of trust. There's a lack of trust in the NCAA, to be honest with you, and making those types of decisions. And they unilaterally can make decisions that make you go, why does this matter? Like, why are you planting your flag on that hill and dying on that hill when all it is just giving this kid another opportunity? Well, he's not a kid, but giving this grown man
Clearly
another opportunity.
Grown ass man
to play ball one more year. But that's my theory.
Yeah. I'm down for it, man. Super excited for Deandre. Really hope we can get him back. Shout out to Doc Holliday for breaking that news.
Shout out to all the beat writers, man.
I heard Jason Smith was being very positive about it. Leon Taylor, of course, he was putting out a lot of information about it, standing strong to what he heard,
right?
Regardless of other reports that came out. Shout out to those 3 guys who I know were out in front of this early.
Well, Jason Munns and Parth over at the Daily Memphian, Jason Munns with the Commercial Appeal. All those guys, man, those beat writers, they do a really it is you said this about 75 times yesterday on Twitter and on the Discord. Things change constantly.
Yeah, for sure.
And being a beat writer and having to run down those ideas, like
that's something I've never had interest in doing, man.
Can I speak to that for just 1 second, man, real quick? We have got to get off the beat writers' back if they get something wrong.
Yeah, if stuff changes,
things
so
change
fast,
so quickly, man. Like they change so quickly, and so the work that these guys do, running down leads and running down information and things like that, they could get a piece of information in literally a matter of 10 minutes. It's totally different, and so, man, just appreciate the fact that you got a group of guys and ladies here in the city
who are running down information
for you. You know, we gotta got to get off that stuff, man.
And also, like me and DeMichael Cole said last week, Kenny Stubblefield, it's a difference when you can call Pooh Baby, who do lashes for Deandre Williams' mama's cousin.
Right.
Right.
Well, apparently DeAndre's mom didn't even know about this. She put out a statement last night and was like, he ain't coming back. And DeAndre put his public statement said, I love my mom. She's my rock. I'm always loyal to her. But she was not aware
that I had this going on.
I'm
telling you, man, stuff hit different when you got those local connections, man, for sure.
Right.
But shout out to all the guys who were on that story. I'm just excited to possibly see DeAndre back. Like I said, I crack more jokes than anybody about that dude's age, man. But like I said, I think he would benefit being here. You know he's going to get a check, NIL deal from somebody. So, yeah, bring him back for sure. About to take a break, man. We come back. We're going to wrap this show up. We're going to talk about, what's the segment called? Oh, Inside the Sane Brain. It's coming when we come back on the Anthony Sane Show.
What's up, guys? I'm so excited to announce that we have partnered with Coaching for Literacy, and you can read more about them at coachingforliteracy.org or follow them on social media at Coaching for Literacy. Your subscription to Bluff City NIL is 100% tax deductible because of our partnership together. Thank you for supporting Memphis Tigers student athletes and helping promote the monumental cause of childhood literacy.
All right, guys, welcome back to the final segment of Inside the Sane Brain on the Anthony Sane Show. Thank you guys for rocking with us today. Thank you for Tammy Sawyer for coming out. Hilarious segment with Tammy. Kenny, you're gonna have a lot of editing to do tonight because me and her were letting it fly for sure, man. Yeah, good stuff with Tammy Sawyer today. We talked about the NBA Finals. You guys have already seen Game 1 by the time you see this. I am predicting a Denver Nuggets win tonight and a win in the series. I think it's going to be a great series. I think it's good for the NBA to see these type of teams be in there. Inside the Sane Brain, this is what's on my mind today, Kenny Stubblefield. I was on Twitter the other night watching Game 7, Boston versus Miami. Mark Cuban, majority governor. We can't say owner. See, Tammy Sawyer coming on got me thinking of a different way. Phil, stop calling these dudes owners, man. They governors. They govern the team, man.
That's right.
So, yeah, the governor of the Dallas Mavericks, Mark Cuban, decides to ask everyone, hey, just doing a little research here. How many of you guys are watching this on a bootleg stream?
Oh, my God.
I was like, nah, man, I know how this goes.
How hilarious was the reaction to that?
Because Mark Cuban at one time had an app that was like, hey, y'all need to get this app where you can, like, delete your old Twitter stuff. You remember that? Yeah, he had some app that came out where you can, like, it clears your Twitter account. Kind of makes it like Instagram, it makes it like Snapchat, where stuff deletes after a while.
Interesting.
Gets rid of all your old tweets. Like, you think I'm gonna let that dude ask me, do I watch bootleg streams?
The man got his start, his money off of a streaming service, right? Like off of that's how he made his billions.
I didn't know that at all.
I forgot the name of it, but that's how he got his start. He sold it.
No, Mark Cuban, I'm not telling you how I watch games. Sorry.
What was your nickname for him after that?
Well, it wasn't mine. It was all over the place. Oh, I called him DJ Vlad. He was on the DJ Vlad shit. But
he's a feds, right?
Yeah, on some real feds.
No, for real, because what happened the next day?
Yeah, the very next day, story comes out saying that 5 operators of illegal streaming services were arrested and were served 30 years for illegal streaming the day after Mark Cuban gets on there. Hey, man, how y'all watching this shit?
You've got to be kidding me, man.
Wild stuff, man. Look it up. It's on Twitter. I saw it the next day that went down. So, yeah,
Is streaming a victimless crime?
Well, I ain't gonna lie, man. Shout out to Robin Hood. You know what I mean? Because like cable companies are raking us over the coals, man. Like they're killing us with the amount of money that they're charging for this stuff. When you in the amount of, especially compared to the amount of money they're making. Like ESPN was charging you $10 on your cable bill, whether you wanted ESPN or not, if you had cable. And it seems like we're going to get back to the days where, people are going to go back to buying these all-inclusive packages that include all these streaming services or just this one. It seems like that's coming back. Like it might be the mode to do things. But for those of you who do illegal stream, seems pretty awesome. I'm not gonna put myself out there, but it seems pretty awesome that you can watch unlimited channels for $30-some every 3 months and do that. It seems cool. I might have to. Legal streaming. Yeah, y'all be careful out here.
So funny, man.
Yeah, 12 out there for sure.
What a coincidence, right? What a coincidence.
What a coincidence that 5 dudes serving 30 the day after Mark Cuban asked people, are they watching this stuff illegal? Maybe you heard about that. Maybe you heard about that story and knew some dudes about to get arrested. So that's why he decided to, I don't know. I'm going to let him have that, though. I have one more funny story to tell before we get in the show. There's also part of Inside the Same Brain. Little known fact, one of the owners of Bluff City Media, one of the governors of Bluff City.
Thank you.
Shout out to Tammy Sawyer, man. One of the governors of Bluff City Media, Zach Thomas, is a very big Disney fan. I had to call him yesterday because I saw this post on Instagram where someone was saying that they were offended. There's a group of people that are offended by the Little Mermaid film, which is going to go crazy in the box office. Kenny, you got a movie when you can reach the kids' first movie type movies.
Yep.
Like Super Mario, when you get that, when you get the nostalgia of the people who saw the original who want to see this version, that type of stuff, holiday weekend it came out on. When you get all those cheat codes, plus you get the black audience support, like Black Panther got, when people are coming, just because this is a black lead character in a movie we've never played that part. That movie's gonna go crazy, right? So
yeah, it's going crazy. It's $300 million already.
Yeah, that movie's gonna hit $1 billion, like probably stupid fast, insanely fast. That and Mario are easily gonna be the 2 biggest grossing movies probably of all time when it's all said and done. But interesting take. There's a group of people who are upset because what's the mermaid's name? I can't.
Bailey, right?
I didn't watch. No, not real life.
Ariel.
Yeah, I didn't watch Little Mermaid as a kid. Ariel. There's just somebody on Instagram was saying, I can't get behind the concept of this woman abandoning her power for love or to marry a man.
Her voice, right? Right.
So I called Zach Thomas and was like, man, what do you think about this? And Zach said the funniest shit, bro. Zach said, Zach is like a hidden, well, he's not hidden, but like a lot of people don't know this. He's a huge, Disney fan.
I had no clue until you told me yesterday.
So I called Zach and he's like, well, first of all, Ariel's not a woman. He said she was a mermaid who then wanted to become a woman. So I don't see how any woman could be offended by her desire to be a woman.
Bro.
Shout out to Zach Thomas for making that so simple. Making it so simple.
She was a fish, guys.
Right. It's like, first of all, she wasn't a woman. So that logic doesn't apply. So shout out to Zach Thomas for clearing that up for me for sure. But thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Anthony Sane Show. Props to Tammy Sawyer again, coming in, my special guest. Yeah, man, we got the Ja Morant news dropped in the middle of the show. Hoping that's something that's not major, something that's not crazy. You'll probably hear more in the coming hours about details. It's gonna be a ton of speculation. It's gonna be a ton of Twitter Spaces opening up. There's gonna be a lot of talk about this probably for the next coming weeks. Ja just won't let us enjoy summer with it, man. We just can't enjoy summer because of stuff with Ja Morant. But I'm hoping it's something positive. Hoping additional information is, since the last time we talked, we got more information. Who knows? But we'll see. And we definitely see you guys next time. Thank you guys for rocking with us again. This is episode 3. Thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you guys for following us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, liking, subscribing, listening to the audio podcast. We appreciate all you guys for rocking with us. For Kenny Stubblefield behind the glass, this is Anthony Sane. Thanking you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Anthony Sane Show. We will see y'all next time. And we out.
Thank you for listening to the Anthony Sane Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. For comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports, head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co and find out how you can become an insider. We will see you back here next week.